Hello, family. Non, ça c'est vous aussi qui dites souvent ça.
Hello, family.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful podcast. Actually, I don't have the name for the podcast. I think what we're gonna do is like after we present or introduce ourselves, we're gonna find the name of the podcast right on the spot right now, and then we continue with the podcast. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay, so that's amazing. My name is Coach Frank, or you can just call me Frank, and I'm just the co-host of this wonderful podcast. I have by my side, I don't know if I have to say minister, but she will have the time to introduce herself. Minister Benedict. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Oh man, I'm so happy to have you tonight. It wasn't easy to put this together, but thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for hosting us in your beautiful house. And we are not just alone. We have with us our wonderful friends and family who decided to share this wonderful moment with us. Can we just give a round of applause? A round of applause. So welcome guys. I know you guys are coming from Cleveland, from Columbus, just to have this fellowship together. Thank you so much for your time and your sacrifice. So before we start, I will give the opportunity to each and every one of us to introduce yourself. I will start with my left hand.
So, as he mentioned, my name is Benedict, so you can call me Benet, you can call me Benny, I have many names, whatever suits your boat. But yeah, we're here, and I'll go ahead and pass it over to my dear husband, actually.
Yeah, as my wife said, my name is Glody Mateta, and here's my beautiful wife.
Wow, hey! It's his beautiful wife.
Love
the sweet.
Yeah, but I'm just excited, for this time, to spend time together, just to discuss and, learn about everything, about different perspectives. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Okay, great.
Hey guys, my name is Francis Naniko. I'm a pharmacist.
Yes, sir.
Doctor. Why you have to say doctor, man?
Yeah, Dr. Naniko, you can call me that as well. But yeah, I'm very looking forward to this podcast. I've been waiting patiently for my turn to come on here to say my piece. So I'm looking forward to all the stuff we'll be talking about today.
That's amazing.
I'll pass it down to my fiance.
Wife, fiance, hey!
My name is Christelle, and I am looking forward to hearing the different perspectives that we all have, just sharing and understanding everyone.
Great.
Love that.
Hey everyone, my name is Taiwo Elizabeth Akinade.
Yes.
Hey.
And I'm a CIA certified internal auditor.
Yes, sir.
I am just so excited to be here to talk about my perspective and just excited to be here with everyone else. And by the way, I'm from Nigeria.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Nigeria in the building.
Nigeria is in the building.
We're not gonna name countries. A lot of chaos.
So actually, she gave her profession. So you gave yours, but Crystal, Glody, Benny, and myself, we didn't give anything like professional wise. So
right.
I don't know if we can start from there, coming back. Yeah.
So currently I am doing like a job search. I am looking into cybersecurity and trying to expand my growth in cybersecurity. Myself in cybersecurity.
Women
That's
in
amazing.
tech.
Like I said, pharmacist. I work in the hospital, so I'm a clinician pharmacist.
Great.
Oh yeah, well, right now I'm a cloud tech architect, and then I'm currently working on my master's degree in cybersecurity.
That's amazing.
So that's my next goal.
That's amazing.
In the security field.
That's amazing.
And as for me, I don't need this. I don't know.
She doesn't.
But for me, I am also in tech. I'm actually a business analyst, so I analyze data all day, every day, and in healthcare as well. So.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Welcome to everybody.
How about you, Coach?
Oh, me, I'm Coach. I'm a Maxwell Leadership Team certified coach.
Yes, sir.
And,
talk about it.
Oh yeah. I'm also an author. a publisher too. I'm currently doing my second bachelor degree in organizational leadership, University of Miami. So, that's what I can say about myself right now.
Successful people.
Oh yeah, only successful people. So, as I said before we continue, I would like us to find a name, like for the podcast right now. So, like this podcast aim to like educate young people about different topics like relationship, religion, spirituality, finance, entrepreneurship, personal development, so all those kind of subjects. So the people we try to reach are mainly young people. So based on that, I would like each and every one of us to provide a name like you have like 2 minutes to give a name and you tell why you choose that name, and at the end of the podcast then we're going to choose among the name what name we want for the podcast, and that's the name that's going to remain for that session of the podcast forever.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So who want to?
I don't mind going first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think anybody could go first.
Francis would tell you I'm really horrible at names, but I think that this podcast should be called Youthful Things.
Youthful Things.
Yes, because our youth, we're like sponges. We absorb and we learn. Our brains are agile. We are able to retain information. I don't want to say release, but we're also able to practice them in our youth. So that's why I think it should be called Youthful Things.
Okay.
With a T, not TH, but things. Yeah.
Okay. You have to remember that.
Okay.
The name that came to my mind is Mindset Shift. I think our youth need a serious mindset shift. There's a lot of things that we have to take serious in life. I'm the deep one, by the way. I'm just warning you already. So it's like I feel like a lot of my generation is very childish. So I think a podcast like this could wake people up. Could wake people up to seriousness of life, and I think Mindset Shift will be a good name.
Okay, Mindset Shift. Okay, great.
Who's going next?
You.
Somebody else. I'm gonna go. So for me, I would say Bright Sparks. Because we are young, we have the creativity in us, and we are smart, we are intelligent. We have a lot in us that the world hasn't seen yet. So we have to make sure that we can bring it up to the world for people to see it, and we have a lot of perspective that maybe it hasn't been said out there yet. So we just have like a lot in us, and I feel like Bright Spark is just a way to show that we are intelligent, and we have a lot in us that we are still learning, but we still have a lot that God has put in us.
That's
so
great.
we are just kind of like she said, we are kind of like a sponge. So we are learning more, and also we have a lot more to also give.
Okay, that's great.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't really have like another specific name that I came up with, but I think all these names are really good, and I think maybe if there's a way to like combine them all, I think that would be good.
Okay, that's great. Me, I could say Faithpreneur.
Faithpreneur.
Yeah.
Like a faith and entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because beside the fact that we are young people, we are Christian first.
Yeah.
So we are children of God, and everything we try to achieve is with God perspective.
Yeah.
So I believe that if we put faith and entrepreneurship together, that can bring that's why I say Faithpreneur. So but
that's good.
so but we
just skip that.
we haven't heard from Cairo.
I supported her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why is so funny?
I think a collection of all these names together would be beautiful, but I really do like Faithpreneur.
I think Faithpreneur could be a collection of all these.
Technically, it's a collection of everything.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Faithpreneur it is.
Now we're gonna go with that then.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna give.
So, quick disclaimer. These are our own thoughts. Do not write it down. Don't start searching things. And don't start putting us, on blast, okay? These are our own opinions. Do not try this at home. A quick disclaimer. And this does not represent our respective countries in any way.
exactly.
our church.
Our church, yeah.
In any way, this is just really just a conversation that we want to have with one another, and just kind of like spark all of our mindsets to kind of think in a different way.
Yeah.
So I'll start off with another question that I feel that could start off our discussion. How do you define success? What is success for you? Because we all talked about our different, what we do in life. We talked about what we are and everything like that. So what does it mean to be successful for you?
Also, what is the definition of success?
That is why.
That's why, yeah. You can give a definition.
General definition.
Okay, well, let me Google that real quick
Google
for you. Success definition. Let's see. The definition of success is the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of the definitions of success. So what does that mean to you? Like, what is your own personal definition of success?
Yeah. when do you feel that you have succeed?
Yeah.
Achieve, yeah.
Whatever
When?
success
What
is
success
to you.
means to you?
I would say that it's my ability to fall and get back up, and fall and get back up, and fall and get back up. I think that's successful because it takes someone who's brave, who's courageous to be willing to fall and get back up and to try it over and over. So that's my definition of success. Being
Okay.
able to fall, get back up.
So for you, if I understand very well, success is not like a destination. It's like a daily activity. It's a journey.
Yes.
It's like a lifestyle, if I can say it like
It's a
that.
lifestyle. It's a journey. It's never a place where you say, "Oh, I've arrived." It's also let me just put it in a Christian point of view. It's on that day when God sees me, He says, "Well done." Yeah,
Okay.
that's my definition of success.
Okay. Okay.
To follow up with that, I would say for me, in addition to that, success will also be getting the most out of my abilities that I know that God has put in me and that I know that I possess. So using those abilities to the best to get to the max, to maximize those ability as much as possible. So I would say that's like success to me, whether it is sacrificing things by getting there, or like she said, failing and getting back up, doing whatever it takes to get to the goals that it's inside of you. You possess that ability to get there, not giving up on yourself. So those type of things is what success look like.
I think for me, like Christelle said, right, like falling and getting back up, it's also the lesson that you've learned along the way. Because what is the point of you falling, getting back up, and you're not learning anything along the way? So it's not only about that, but also the lesson that you've learned during that time to achieve the goal that God have set in for you. So I think for me, that is what success is: learning from that mistakes or those trials and tribulations, and being able to give or being able to achieve more from that.
That's great.
That's really good.
And just to add to it, as far as learning and falling and getting back up, to me I feel like also peace is also part of success, because you gotta be able to be comfortable in a place where it's not comfortable. So whenever you fall, you get back up, as long as you are going toward the goals that you are looking for to achieve, which can be your personal goal or something that that maybe God has put in your life. As long as you are at peace in it, you can fall, you can fail 99 times, but they're gonna be that one time that you will probably succeed. So just being at peace and just follow what is something that will make you at peace to be able to continue. Yeah. So.
I mean, to add to that, I guess I would ask a follow-up question, if I may. What would you say to yourself? What would you define as, okay, I'm not successful? What would you say that would make you feel like, okay, I'm not successful? What is that measure for you?
Personally, for me, if I've set a goal and I didn't reach that goal, and also it could be many reasons why I didn't reach that goal. But if I had stopped, if I had stopped trying, you know, because with that you have to keep trying. So it's if okay, I'll keep trying, I kept trying, and maybe God just wanted to go into a different direction. But if I actually decide to just stop, I'm done, then I think for me that is not success, that is failure, because not only did I fail to reach my goal, but I also stopped trying.
That's true.
I will give a definition of success before telling why I can feel like I didn't succeed. For me, success is walking in the center of God's purpose for your life. Because I believe that it doesn't matter. You can have peace, you can fall and get up, you can do all those kind of things. But if it's not at the center of God's purpose or will for your life, I don't think you're successful. Because God, when He's going to say, well done, it's not going to be based on whatever we achieve or whatever goal we reach, but based on the assignment He gave us and we fulfill. So for me, that's success. That's why there's a lot of people who have accomplished a lot of stuff on this planet, but they are not successful in the eyes of God. So I want to make sure that I'm successful when I work in God's purpose for my life. And for me, not succeeding will be just the opposite of that. Not knowing why God created me and why He sent me on this planet. And at the end of the day, we say, okay, I gave you this, I gave you that, I gave you that, but why did you do that?
Because even the Bible says, like, you know, what is it to gain the world and lose your soul? You know, like, being successful is literally walking in God's purpose for me. So that was really good.
So that's how I define success.
Okay, Frank. Success is defined by being in the will of God, like he mentioned. That was really, really good.
Well, good. So I think the question that Minister.
I mean, you can put it out there. You
I say minister? I don't know. Okay, I'm just. I think the question that Minister Benny asked was really great, and I would like to add another question. What was the thing that made you look for God? Like the situation you found yourself in, and you understood that the only person who can take me out from this is God, and that situation was a curse and a blessing at the same time. Curse because he was down, blessing because he led you to God.
We were just talking about this earlier, actually. I'm gonna let y'all say something. I'm gonna let y'all say something before I say anything.
I could go first. A lot of people have crazy stories that I've heard about to answer that question. Mine's not as crazy, but it was my moment of turning back to Christ. Seriously. So it was when I was in undergrad. There's two parts to the moment. First, in undergrad, I wasn't doing good because I was living on campus for the first time, not really taking school seriously anymore. And I ended up getting less than 2.0 GPA and got the message that I would be dismissed by next semester if I don't fix that. So that was at the point of my life where I kind of like start taking life seriously and taking schooling and the things that I want to do in the future seriously. And around that time was when also I got back to reading my Bible and also praying, because I do need God help in that moment. But it wasn't as strong as this next moment when I got done with school and I started applying to pharmacy school because that's what I wanted to do. And I started getting rejection from schools. I applied to almost 15 pharmacy schools and I got 14 rejections.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was praying during those moments, and this is not like rejection that you get in one day. This is throughout a period of 6 months, rejection after rejection after rejection. Got a couple interviews, you go to the interviews, come back, rejection, but keep praying all the way till I got accepted into a pharmacy school. So that journey, that 6 month period of praying and asking God for mercy and grace and guidance in that moment. And also, like Ty would say, asking God, is this really what you want me to do? Because I keep failing at it. At some point, I'm just going to give up because I don't see that this is what you want me to do. So in that moment, I had to be faithful. I had to have faith Speaking of entrepreneur, I had to have faith. I have to have faith in that moment, and also believe in my intuitions that this is exactly where God wanted me to be in, and He wanted me to go through that to get closer to Him. So I would say that would be like the lightning moment of taking gospel seriously.
That's great. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you got something to say, girl, 'cause you just spoke about it.
I know we spoke about it this morning, three of us, and I think there were so many moments for me, but I think 2020 was kind of a hard time for a lot of us. The whole world was going through something, and I think more so for me was more in the aspect of relationships, where I was in a cycle of repeating the same mistakes, and so just like I shared with you guys in the morning, I got to a point where I was just tired of the same thing. And I know that I said success is the ability to get back and fall, get back and fall. The curse in that is, like Taiwo said, if you're falling about the same thing, that means you're not learning. And so for me was the point where I got to, and I was just like, I'm tired of this. I keep putting myself in the same situations. I keep, attracting the same things and all of that stuff. And I'm tired, and I'm tired of leaning on my own understanding. And so having to say, okay, God, I'm tired, take over, just take control, because my understanding has failed me completely. That was my turning point to God.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So that's where God led you to, Francis.
Yeah. So, 2020 was.
I mean, when you think about it,
Yeah.
it's all like God purpose, because I did all of that in New York, and where did I end up matching Ohio? So
Yeah.
I have 14 fails, and then the 15th is led me to finding her. So
Yeah,
That's
and I could
amazing.
say the same thing, because after I said I'm tired, and then Francis,
Get that.
when you let it go and you put it all in God's hand, that's when the miracle will happen.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I feel like a lot of times that I feel like you find God in the moments that your heart can't take anymore, and that you realize that your heart can't take no more, and you give it fully onto God, and then He gets to show Himself to you. Because if you feel you hold on your own things, you hold on to your own heart's desires and everything like that, you realize that your ways are never going to be better than God's ways.
Definitely.
And until you realize that, I don't think that you truly get to meet God.
Definitely.
And I think that's the turning point for most people, because it's at that moment of hurt that you realize, yo, God, I'm gonna need you to fix me up. It's I'm gonna need you, and you realize, and this even like for other religions, for example, when they first something goes wrong or whatever, they cry out. The first name that they cry out is
God.
So
That's definitely true. Me, I would just say like that's where for me I was in the situation. I was back in Europe. That was when I was in Europe, like in 2017, like that, when I was about to go back home. Like I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of people that I called friends, and that we hang out, like we're doing all those crazy stuff together. And one day I found myself in this. One day I found myself in a really critical situation, and I called all of them. I look for help, and I called them. I said, okay, look, this is what I'm going through, guys. I really need your help. And all of them just turned their back on me. So I found myself alone in a foreign country without people that I used to call my friend. That's why now the word friend is really it's really important to me. If I don't call people friend for the sake of calling you friend. Yeah, because I experienced that people that I considered friend before were not actually what I thought. So I had to turn to God. I say, God, like everybody I thought were the solution to my problem actually turned their back on me. So right now, if you don't really do something, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I turned to God, and He was there. It just made me understand that He has always been there from the beginning. It's just me who kind of decided to distance myself away from Him, and He taught me something, and I keep experiencing it in my life right now. Anytime I try to do stuff by myself, it doesn't go through.
exactly.
And until I have like if I'm in a particular situation and I still have options, God will not going. It's not going to show up. It's when I have my back against the wall, like I feel like I exhausted all my options. That's where God is going to show up, and He will make sure that I can give His glory to no one. Like when I come up from that situation, I know that it's not a man who brought me out of that situation. I know it's Him. Yeah. So that's for me.
So, if anyone had, you have an answer to that?
I don't have an answer. It's just something I want to add. I think, like you said, right? You find yourself in a situation and you went to your friends first. I think we all make that mistake. Instead of going to God first, we go to our friends. And then things happen. And we discover they're not our friends. And then when we go back to God and cry and all that. And yes, He answered us. But I think that's the thing. Like, when you're going through something, God should be the first person we go to. He should be the first one, not our friends. And that's why at the end of the day, when we say, Lord, take all the glory. Take all the glory. But I think as a person, as a Christian, we have to learn when we're going through any situation, before you even go to your partner, before you go to your parents, your friends, I think we should make it an habit to go to God first. Because He's, like you said, you cried to Him and He answered. It's not like He wasn't there. You just didn't seek Him.
Exactly.
He's always there.
Always been there.
But we don't seek Him until we get to a certain situation, and then we don't want to be going and
when there's
crying.
wahala.
And guess what? He's a merciful God. Because of that, it won't turn away from you. But I think we just need to make it a habit. Like the first time when we're going through situations, before we go to anyone first, let's go to God and your answer.
I wanted to add on to that, because we've all shared stories that we were in a point of like surrendering and vulnerability. There are some people that I think that theirs is the opposite, where they're actually in a point of like extreme high, like where everything is going well, but the loneliness is there, and so they need something, they need someone. And I feel like it's different for everybody. Like some of us unfortunately have to go through bad situations to say, oh God, I need you. But there's some people that will go through great situations and they're like,
still a void.
There's still a void. And so for a lot of people, that's when they find God. That's when God they're like, oh, there must be something bigger than this, because this is not giving what it's supposed to give.
You got it all, but you really don't.
You had something to say?
Oh yeah, sure. Just to add on top of what everybody's saying, I mean, going back to the question, a moment of my life where I had to really depend on God, I would say 2020 was just a challenging year for all of us. And us getting married, 2020, my wife, she did lose her job, and then at some point I did lose my job as well. And then it was just a challenging year, and me moving here in Ohio, I didn't have a job, and then finding a job here was just so challenging. But I used to pray to God, which I do till today. I always tell God that wherever I will go, you will bless me. The same way. The same way you told Abraham to go and then you will bless him. The same way you will bless me. So, I mean, it was really challenging. I applied. Actually, the job that I had, I did apply, and then I got rejected. And then after a few weeks, they called me back for a more higher position. So I mean, like stuff like that, you can tell that it's on God. Because I did the interview for the lower position, but they didn't take me. But the higher position, they just called me and they just told me like, when do you want to start?
That's amazing.
So to really depend on God on everything you do, it's really, it's hard. Like that's Christianity. I mean, at its core. Faith. I mean, faith. It's not the things that we see, but it's the thing that we hope that it's going to happen. So, and it's not like your hope that you hope is going to be negative. Your hope it's something will happen. It's positive. Wow. So that's a little bit about the subject.
I really like what you said. You said God told, like you when you was praying, and God told you wherever you're gonna go, you will go. He's gonna bless you. That means that the blessing doesn't depend on where you are going, but who goes with you.
Yeah.
So as long as you go with God or God goes with you, it doesn't matter where you are. He can bring water out of the desert like he did from the people with the people of Israel. He can bless you wherever you are as long as he's by your side. So I really love what you said. What you say. I don't know if Mr. Benny can have something to say.
I do have to add a point to that. We talked about, like, for example, you spoke about being against the wall, calling your friends and everything like that, and nobody being willing or able to help you. Now, what do you define, or what does everyone define as a good friend? What is a good friend to you? Because in that situation, a good friend would have maybe led you to God, or maybe prayed with you, even if they weren't able to do anything for you. They would have led you to the one that can. So, in your opinion, that's my perspective. But in everyone else's opinion, what is a definition of a good friend, or what do you define as a good friend? That's deep, ain't it?
For me, I will start. For me, a good friend is someone who is going to tell you the truth. Yeah, because sometimes if you have people around you who only celebrate you, but who doesn't rebuke you when you do wrong, they are not friends.
Come on. I
So
agree with that.
that's one of the main can I say criteria that, like, I look into someone I can call a friend. I want you to celebrate with me. I want you to cry with me, but I want you to rebuke me when I'm doing something wrong, but with love. Because if you rebuke me somehow, we can fight. And we can
Don't play me, okay? Don't play me.
yeah. So basically, that's what I call a friend for me.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I think friendship to me is a difficult topic for me, because I feel like I personally have like category of friends.
Me too.
So
Yeah.
and
Expand on that.
and I expect different things from each category.
That's amazing.
Right? So I have friends that I know when I call them, it's gonna be about partying, where we're gonna go for this event, blah 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 blah. And then I have friends that are more so like family. They are more so those people that like my confidants. Those people that I would tell that, okay, I have an interview tomorrow, pray for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So those people will know more of my secret compared to the other group. And then the last group is just people that are kind of in between those two categories. So, but to make it general, to not take too long, I would say when I think about a friend, I'm looking for somebody that have the fruit of the Holy Spirit. Pretty much looking for somebody that's essentially like the same thing I look for in my partner.
Come on.
I'm looking for that in any relationship, even in like our work.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking for the people that I'm working with. Not necessarily everybody will, but hopefully the company values are aligned with the fruit of the Spirit, like love, kindness, all those type of things. So that's what I'm looking for in a friend. And obviously we're all human. You're not going to find a single person to have all the Holy Spirit values. Then you are God at that point. So as long as you have some, and you are one of those people that are willing to work on things, like Frank say, we all have our fault. We talk to each other. We help each other grow. We talk about our weaknesses and how we could help each other grow in those weaknesses. That's what friendship is all about. Yeah. That's great.
Mine is not a statement; it's a question to Dr.
Francis.
Dr. Francis.
He was trying to say his last name. Fail.
I said my last name.
Wow. Okay, so you said you have 3 categories of friends.
Yes.
One's that they're the party people. One part, they are your confidant, and the others, they are just in between. Do you think you misclassify your friends? Ooh. Do you think they are all your friends? I believe we do misclassify people. So I believe some people need to be acquaintances. Some people need to be friends, right? So, are all those people in those three different categories. One, are they really your friends? Two.
Jesus.
These people, do they know that those are the
categories they are in
that you put them?
Right.
3, is that the same, like the same category you put them, is that the same category they put you?
And are you willing to accept that?
And are you willing to accept that?
Right.
Have you had that conversation with them?
Well, to answer some of those questions, I would say for me personally, I don't care which category I'm in to them. It doesn't bother me one bit. If I'm the party guy, if I'm in your party category, great, let's have fun. It is what it is. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I need those friends in my life because I'm the one that's too serious. I need those people that will like make me happy. That will like, Francis, you know what? You haven't gone out in a minute. Let's go relax. Let's go out. Let's go do this. As long as it's in my parameters of sanity, obviously.
Yeah.
But just because they are in the category of partying or like having fun doesn't mean like it doesn't mean these people are better than these people. Okay. It's just a category. It doesn't mean one group is better than the other. And like I said, the other question, I don't care where they put me, and I don't talk about that with my friends because they don't really need to know. Like, I'm not gonna come and say, oh yeah, we're friends, but actually you are in this category in my mind. Like, what's the point of that? Like, it's not gonna help us grow. It's not gonna help our relationship do anything.
Even make it worse.
Yeah, well, why would I tell you that? Yeah. So it is what it is. And then the last thing I will add to that is friendship is hard to like, kind of like, even though some friends you don't even talk to anymore, but in your mind you guys are still friends, because he could call me right now and I'll have to get out of this podcast, and I haven't talked to him in a year plus. It's just, he's my friend. It is what it is. That's what I believe in my heart. Maybe it's just the kindness of my heart, but if one of those few people will call me right now, I'm out. And they're all the way in New York and I'm catching the flight right now. So, and I hope and I pray that they feel the same way about me, but for me it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter. So, yeah.
Let me add a layer to whatever you guys are answering. So, yes, you define the truth of what a good friend is, right? And then, but what is the difference between a friend and an acquaintance, and how do you differentiate between the two? That's just a layer to ask whatever question you're going to answer. So, just a layer.
I mean, to add to that layer is, between a friend and acquaintance, I would say it also depends on like where we meet and our relationship. If we meet at work and we just cool at work and all our relationship revolve around work, then you are my acquaintance. We're not friends. I'm not seeing you outside of work. Then you are immediately acquaintance. And then business partner, we don't have any relationship outside of that, then yeah, you are my acquaintance. But outside, as long as we start having relationships where I'm going out with you and we are talking and we are spending time together, then I see you as a friend.
But don't you go out with your acquaintance though? Wouldn't you go out with your acquaintance?
At least me, I don't.
Okay. So basically what I'm trying to ask is that anyone that you would go out with would be your friend.
What do you mean by going out? No, like just stepping out to a bar and grab some drinks?
A relationship with, for example, if you're going out, you're like hanging out often.
Then yeah, they become a friend. That's what I say. Okay. If you guys are going out often, yeah, that's your friend. Because as long as you're spending time with somebody, the person is getting to know you. Yeah. You're getting to know the person. That's where friendship start. And as long as the person have the values that I talked about earlier, the fruit of the spirit, then you're my friend. Okay. Because I'm spending time with you. Yeah.
So I want to go back to the first question that was asked. Benny and I talked about this like weeks ago. One thing that I do look in the friendship that Francis actually said was the fruit of the spirit. The spirit. The most important for me is love, and so I would say that I look for that in the friendship. First and foremost, because God called us to first love Him, love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul. Secondly, love your neighbors, you love yourself. I feel like the absence of love is the absence of everything else.
Yeah.
You cannot be patient with me if you don't love me. You cannot respect me if you don't love me. You cannot be kind with me if you don't love me. And so the absence of just love alone, if I don't have love for you, there's nothing, I wouldn't have good intentions for you, if I'm being honest. Even if I do something, it wouldn't be out of love. And I would want a friend of mine to do something with love, even if it's the tiniest thing, even if it's just, I don't know, just walking with me. I want you to love me. And in that sense, you're able to rebuke me kindly. I don't have to worry about you going crazy on the internet. I don't have to worry about you putting me on blast.
She said one time.
I don't have to worry about craziness coming out of my friend, because they love me. They love God first, and then they love me. And so that's one thing that I look for in a friend. I wanted to add on the question to that. Is it possible for your friends to migrate from one group to another? Yes.
Actually,
So it seems like everybody is in line with the category mindset that I have.
Yeah, true, and that's actually where I wanted to also, talk about too. I mean, I feel like, you might want to be nice not to say it, but I feel like all of us have a category for friends.
Right.
Especially the more you grow, the more your friends, the more friendships start becoming
start evolving.
a little bit different.
Yeah.
Some people you used to talk to a lot, you guys start talking like, once in a while, but that doesn't mean that you guys are not friends.
Right.
So I really got friends that we don't talk a lot, but just like Francis said, if there is something, if I can help in any way possible, I will definitely do it. And I got some friends where I'm growing who right now, it's more so, it's starting maybe because we have the same interest, and then from there just start growing, or maybe because we share the same value, or maybe because both of us are Christian, because friendship at first it has to be something common. As far as like I see it, and then from there we can start developing our friendship, knowing what else do we have in common, and then especially sharing the same value. That's definitely a big thing that keeps friendship last longer, and also genuinely loving your friend. Even if they are just a friend that you like to party with, or just to work out with. Right. Because some friends might just be friends that you like to work out with, but it's not like the friend that you can sit and talk about business stuff. But still, to work out with them, you gotta have that love, to wake up, and work out with them. So definitely friendship. To me, the more I'm growing, it's becoming a little bit complex, but it's coming also a little bit more defined. Like I'm knowing who's my friend, and who to associate with, who's not, and who can be like a troublemaker, and who not, and who to tell my stuff to, and who not. So you really gotta be careful with your friends. And but all in all, friendship is something that I feel like everybody need. You definitely need friends.
Yeah, that's definitely true. We all need friends, and we all need each other. We're gonna go to the next question. I know.
Keep going and going on.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot to say about friends.
Multiple things I can say about that.
Yeah, so I have this statement: prayer can do everything and solve all problems. What do you think?
That's deep.
Prayer can do everything and solve all problems. Well, I'll go first. I believe prayers is important, very important. One of the first things that we should do when we want to, when we wake up, just life in general, just thank God for waking up. So that's a prayer on its own. So, you need life before you can even start anything you want to do in life. So you need to be healthy, and you need to have breath in your lung. So, but as far as actually, for example, if I have like a goal or a project that I want to achieve, I could pray all I want, but if I'm not taking that step of working on what I need to do to achieve that goal, prayer is not magically gonna walk and achieve that goal for me. I will have to pray and then research all the steps that I need to accomplish in order to get to that goal. So, and that is something that I believe a lot of Christians miss. A lot of us are prayer warriors, but we are not work warriors. You know what I mean? We are not.
That hit a
Yeah.
spot right
That was
there.
good.
Yeah. Where I love work, I love the grind, I love the sacrifice. We are not sacrifice warriors. You have to sacrifice something in life to get the things that you want. So you could pray all you want. It's great. It's important. I'm not downplaying prayer. I pray every day. But at the end of the day, we are in earth. We are on earth, and you have to get up in the morning, strap your boots, and get to work.
To go off on what Dr. Francis said, right? Faith without work is what?
Yeah.
Thank you. So how can you say you have faith? I prayed for a job. You do not apply.
God is just gonna send
No
us
interview.
like manna.
You do not work on yourself. But I'm praying that God will give me the best. How? How exactly? And so that's the thing about prayer. Like, you also need to be very realistic with these things. Prayer works, and that's the other part to it. God is telling you, don't go this way. God is telling you, get out of this relationship. God is telling you, this is not the way for you. But I'm praying. I'm praying.
I believe in God.
So for God to change his mind, you understand? And so with that goes obedience. God is already telling you that is not the way for you. And you're saying you are praying. Of course the prayer is not working, because that's not what God wants for you. So when you say you're praying over something, listen and make sure you're actually being obedient to God, that you're actually listening to him and know that you know what he's saying. Because prayer will not change everything, and that's for your own good, because God has a better purpose for you. God has a great God for you, and it's not what you're praying for. You don't know better than God. And so that's why at the end of the day, when I pray, like, God, I bow to your will. You know, at the end of the day, you take all the glory. It's what you want. I don't know better than myself. It's what you want from me that at the end of the day will come to pass. So when you're saying you're praying, really, you're cursing yourself, because what are you praying for? So you need to be very careful when you're saying you're praying and what you're asking God for. Make sure you're listening. And make sure you're also working towards that which you are praying for.
You said something very, very powerful. You said faith without works is dead, right? But I also believe in another aspect, that you can be praying without even believing that God will give you what you prayed for. And how can you believe that the person that you're praying for will give you what you want, and you're just sitting there like, oh yeah, I don't really think he really gonna give it to me though. I prayed though. How can that change your situation if you don't even believe that he really gonna give it to you? I think that's an aspect that a lot of people like forget. A lot of people are praying for things but don't even really have the faith in their heart that they're gonna receive what they've prayed for.
When the people in the Bible, I don't want to embarrass myself. When they ask, the people in the Bible. That's wild. The people in the Bible. That's wild. Listen, when they asked Jesus, how do we pray? And part of the prayer, he said, "Give us today our daily bread."
Yes.
Our daily bread involves the strength it needs to do the work to accomplish that, the resources it needs for me to use to make sure that this happens. It's a prayer, but in the prayer there's an action stated. Give us today our daily bread, so that when I have my daily bread, I can carry my load and follow you. I can carry, you know what I mean? So praying, just to add on to what they're saying, you can pray all you want, but when God gives you your daily bread, what are you doing with it?
Yes.
What are you doing with your daily bread? You can't be sitting there. Your daily bread is piling up. What are you doing? You get
Definitely. Michael, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say, like, another way I see prayer, like, I see prayer as like a lifestyle as well. The way just the way we are. Like, you can pray about sanctification, and then you still sinning and still doing bad thing, or you can pray for jobs, but you're not applying, like Ty will say. So just because even Jesus, like, we can remove everything. We can they can just show us maybe like a Jesus movie or whatever, just by looking at how he was doing. I mean, how he was walking, the things he was doing, just by looking at the way he was living. That one can definitely just like teach us already.
Yeah.
So just by the way we are living, that's also another way of prayer. Because you can pray, but what you're praying for, or you are not like, okay, let's say like you're praying for like work, right? And then they can even give you to like a prophet can say like you're gonna have a job.
Yeah.
And then I mean, and that's God saying that. But if you are not applying, and if you are not leveling up, if you are not like learning according to whatever, I mean, like it's going to be a prophesy that maybe it will not come to pass.
Yeah.
So you gotta do your part, because God will not do what human being can do.
You can pray, but you gotta do your part. You can't just pray and expect God to carry the whole entire result.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about it.
That's amazing. That's amazing what all you guys said. I feel like prayer has its own place, and work has its own place. Like I feel like the attitude after prayer sometimes is more important than the prayer itself.
Yes.
Because if you pray and you don't have the right attitude, you're not going to receive anything.
Yeah.
And if you pray, you have the right attitude, you will decide to take the right action to actually prepare yourself to receive your prayer. So I really believe that all of them goes together, and I'm really grateful for whatever we are sharing right now. I don't know, Minister Benny, you have another question for us?
Actually, because it goes in alignment with what Tyra was saying earlier, right? She had mentioned about like praying and not applying and just different aspects, right? So, do you believe that God can send you your significant other without you having to do the work to attract that person? I mean, I'm just saying, like, do you feel like God can send you the person for your life without you having to put the first step out there? Like, fixing yourself, looking good, playing the part. Like,
and approaching
that person.
So let me just coming to you saying like,
God, like, do you really believe that you don't have to do nothing, and when you pray, the person just gonna show up like that?
In other words, it's like saying, do you think you get the job even though you don't qualify for it? You've been praying for the job, like you guys said. You're not putting in the work. You're not building the skills to have that job, but yet you're praying to expect the job. One thing that Pastor Romeo said in church one day was, you have to learn how to become a wife before you're a wife, if that makes sense.
Preach, and a lot of people do that.
That also goes, with men as well. You have to learn what it takes to, or what it entails to, the knowledge of being a wife before you get there. Obviously, you're not going to get everything, because some things are learned when you're experiencing it. Yeah. But you have to put yourself in a position where, I like to say, help God help you. Seriously, you cannot just be doing bare nothing and just saying, God, just provide me a husband. But you're still doing craziness. Like, you're still doing the most. I feel like you kind of have to put your position in a place where you're first willing to learn the things that you want to learn to be in that position, and then pray. Apply and pray, and then God will.
Attitude after you pray.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you say. Personally, I know people say that sometimes God can find your significant order for you. But when we look in the Garden of Eden, of course we can say that Eve was the only one lady in the garden. But if we see, before God decided to bring Eve, what God did, He sent the animal to Adam and see how Adam will name them. So when Adam finished to name the animal, God said he saw that the man was alone. So the man was alone. So, and he said he need to find to make a help suitable for him. Right? It means that God was not necessarily looking for a wife to give to Adam, because Adam was not in a position to get married. He was working.
on,
He was
minister.
looking. He wanted a suitable helper to help him do whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not about marriage at all. So when God made Eve, he brought Eve the same way he brought the animal. So it means that maybe Eve came after the lion of the giraffe or something like that. So it was Adam's duty to decide
What she was.
if this one was really the flesh of his flesh,
Yeah.
or the bones
Of his bone.
of his bone.
Yeah.
God never say, Adam, okay,
This
this is your wife.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give you an helper because you was working. Because God sent, the first thing he gave Adam was not Eve, he gave him work.
Yeah.
And then Adam was working and he decided to send Eve to help him not to marry him. So I don't believe, and it's Adam who decided. He could have just saw Eve and I say, okay, she's just going to be maybe my right hand. We're going to rule over the Garden of Eden, or do whatever we have to do. She will remain his helper or his friend or whatever he decide, because he had the power to name.
Yeah.
As long as he named Eve his wife, she became
Eve's
his wife.
Yeah.
You understand? So I believe that God doesn't choose partner to people. It doesn't matter how you're going to pray. How many people decided to marry because someone was sleeping and he say he dreamed because he saw his sister in his dream, and the sister was having a white gown and she was running towards him, and they were before the pastor, and the pastor blessed them, and then he woke up and he was like, okay, that's my wife. And you go look for that wife, she's engaged already, or you go look for her, she's someone sweet. So I strongly believe that you have to go. As a man, you have to go and to talk to that young lady. If you stay there and you pray, someone else will come from somewhere and take her against it, and take her, and you'll be crying. And also why I don't believe that God give wife to men. I talk about men because I don't know more about women.
That's my next question.
It's because if that was like we had one significant order on this planet for ourselves, we won't, like, it means that we won't have to divorce. Because if when you divorce, it means that you take someone else's significant order. Or when you die, you have the right to remarry. So that person you remarry, it means that you take her from someone else. I believe God can guide us.
Yes.
He can give us options. He can give us some people who can feed our aspiration, or some people who can help us, because the main thing and the most important thing in the eyes of God is the purpose He created us for to fulfill. So He will make sure that the person we decide to be with will be a helper to fulfill the purpose He gave us. That's what happened to Adam. So that's what I can say.
So in that sense, right? I'll let everybody else answer as well. But in that sense, you said something very interesting. You said Adam saw that Eve was his wife, and he named her my wife, basically, right? So what do you think about? Is it a man's role to define the relationship, or is it a woman? Can a woman define, like, this is my man?
I believe it's a man who has. I believe it's a man who has to define the relationship.
Yeah.
Because if you don't claim a girl, like you are my girlfriend, or you are my fiance, or you are my wife, she's nothing to you. You are the one. The man is the one who is supposed to define the relationship. A man can stay with you for 10 years. If he doesn't claim you as his girlfriend, you are not. If he doesn't propose to you, you are not his fiancé. If he doesn't take you before God or before the court or before whoever, you are not his wife. And if women, a lady, you decide to step up and do that thing, you'll be looking at Exactly. You people will look at you and say you are desperate. They say you, yeah. So that's why is the responsibility, the man's responsibility to define the relationship.
So is that gender roles then?
It's not gender role thing. It's a God thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It was a God thing. Making sure it's a God thing.
It's the order of things, like Christelle said. If the girl do it, then it's disorder. And also, why would you want to do it as a girl? Because it's like, if the person, because we are the one that need, not necessarily we are the only one that need the help, but we are, a serious man is seeking a wife. And if I see that you are a wife, then I'm locking it down right away, because I'm not playing games.
Yep.
So if you are with somebody and they haven't stepped up, then either you are not the one or they are not serious. So move on. It's that easy. You gotta tell them no. So it's that easy. Like, let's stop playing games. So it's not that hard. If somebody is the one for you and you guys are vibing and all that, it's not rocket science, bro. If you guys match, you match and get it over with. So, but for a lady to go and claim a man that, oh, this is my boyfriend and this is my fiance, yeah, you definitely delulu. Because he's out in the streets.
He's for the streets. Anybody else got something they want to add to that?
This is more so to just the order and disorder of things. I feel like the devil has a crafty way of making things that God has presented to us in the order in which it should go. He has a crafty way of turning it around and saying, oh, but did God really tell you to do this? You know what I mean?
Like the seed of the enemy.
Like the serpent got to Eve.
Yeah.
Did God really say
the seed
you
of
should not
doubt.
eat that?
Exactly. That's why we're having conversations like this, because of his craftiness and how he's been able to turn it around for many generations now. I feel like it's very... it's clear in the Bible. You have to read. Genesis is hard. Genesis is complex. But the more you read the Bible, especially Genesis, it tells you what is and what isn't. It tells you the order. When you said something, I really learned something today when you were talking about how he worked first before God presented. That's really an order that I did not see. And I've read Genesis like 14 times. And it's just like, okay, how did I not see that? Well, when you were talking about people who don't even, and I was once there, people who don't even open your Bible, you begin to do things out of order. You're really going about life like
That's
crazy.
The playbook right there.
And so when you start opening and saying, God, but what is God saying about it? Because there's so much noise in society. And when you start opening your Bible and saying, okay, but this is what God is saying, and it's worked for many people and it's working for many people, you begin to want to like align yourself with those because it's going to work.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's deep.
I feel like to add just on top of that, I feel like first of all, the man has to do the work, but God can help us. God do help us in a way that He will put us in the position for us to do the work. You see, like let's say you want to talk to a specific lady, God can make a way that maybe you know the person who knows that lady, or maybe you are in an environment that will allow for you to meet. So that I feel like that's the help that God can make. But for God just to send a woman to come tell you that you are my husband, I feel like that's a little
that's
that's a little weird.
It's like those people that want a husband, but they don't go out anywhere.
Or they don't even fix themselves. They're looking like an old lady at home and they're like 20 years old. I'm just putting it out there. This is nothing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But you want a man though.
Yeah.
So this is the question: are you guys saying that God cannot tell a woman who her husband is?
Let me drink.
I'm gonna try to answer to that question. Unless I'm mistaken, I don't see anywhere in the Bible where God said to a woman that that's your husband. I say unless I'm not a Bible scholar. I read the Bible, but I haven't seen that yet. God can maybe put a woman in a position that she can be attracted to a certain man, Let's see the story of
I think in Rebecca. Which one?
not Rebecca, the woman when we want to talk about Boaz, Ruth.
Ruth, yeah.
That woman, she was working, right? If we consider her that she was working, and she met someone, noticed her while she was working, and she had to prepare herself in order to be accepted or to be seen as a future or as a next queen of that kingdom. Like, a woman, okay, you are a woman, for example. Imagine you are there, you believe God told you that Abu Bakr is your husband.
Abu Bakr, this guy.
Yeah. Abu Bakr is your husband.
I swear.
Okay, yeah. Is your husband. Abu Bakr is your husband. So first of all, how will you know that is not your feeling that's talking to you, not God? Secondly, even if it's God, as a woman, how are you going to do to make sure that man becomes your husband? Because in the culture we have right now, if a woman decides to approach men openly and say, okay, you know what, God told me you are my husband, I will say, bro, God has to talk to me too.
I agree.
You understand? You understand? So, but if you are not, if that man is not attracted to you, you're not going to be his wife.
Absolutely not.
Definitely, you're not going to be. So I strongly, that's why I strongly believe that even if a lady likes a man, she should put herself. Women know how to do that better than I can explain. If a lady likes you, she know what to do to catch your attention. Right? Now as we come back to whatever we said at the beginning, it's up to the man, to that man, to define that relationship. If that man is a player, he's just going to do what? Hit and run. Because he will look at you as an easy girl.
That's the truth.
That's it. If a girl come to me openly like that, honestly, I'm not going to take her that serious. Honestly, I'm not. Because I will feel like, what are your intentions? So do you want to, not that I downplay myself, I'll be like, among all the men you see, so you decided to walk up to me to tell me that I'm your husband. God told you that I'm your husband.
Which God?
Which one? And thank God I'm on the other side right now. If I was on the other side back in the day, bro, I will see that as a good opportunity. Oh yeah, I will, as a good opportunity, I will do whatever I have to do, but I will never take you serious. No, that's what I think. So
Yeah. But I don't think a lady will come directly to you. I'm not talking about you, like in general, and say, well, some people will actually do that. But
Yes,
in general, I
they
think
will.
they will come to you and be like, I think God said you're my husband. I think they will start with friendship. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's what you mean. Like the girl will start with friendship.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, thank you. That's what Frank was saying. That like you put yourself in a position to be available for that man, but you're not gonna pull up on him and just say it.
I'm your wife.
Yeah, God told me.
God
Because
said.
men's do that. Men's come up to you and say, "Oh yeah, I had a dream. God told me you are my wife." That's fine.
Which God told you that? God will reveal to me
I
the
just
same
say
thing.
God should just come and talk to me.
Yeah.
Like you should come and you can talk to me
So
too.
now that's the actual question. Like Frank said, if God tell you that I'm your husband, then that God has to talk to me because I'm the one that's gonna define that. I'm the one that's gonna decide who's my wife, right? But I personally don't think it's the same for the girl. That God necessarily have to come to you and say, okay, yeah, I want to confirm that that's your husband.
But you know what?
Not necessarily.
You know what? Just to add to that, though, the Bible doesn't say she who finds a husband finds a good thing. The Bible says he
who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord.
Now you guys are proving our point.
That's right. Yeah.
We are.
They are proving our
You guys
point.
are agreeing.
Yeah.
So we are the ones seeking.
Yes.
Right. So we are the one that are looking for it. So you are positioning yourself so that you can be found easily.
Yeah. And you have to prepare.
So that you making my job easy, so I can find you easily.
I have to find you as a wife. Your job is to make sure you are
have
a
to
wife
prepare yourself.
before I marry you.
Not he who
Before
finds
I
a girlfriend.
A girlfriend.
Yeah. So
Or,
that when I
or a
see
lady.
you, when I'm ready and then I see you, I'm like, okay, yes, that's the one. She's ready, I'm ready, let's do it. But if the man is not ready, you could position yourself. Now that's where you guys have to be careful, right? Because you may think that, oh, this could be my husband. You position yourself to be available to that guy, and then he take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Right, by faking that, oh yeah, promise you the world, but he's a player. So that's where you have to trust your intuition. You have to pray about everything you do to make sure that God help you to be able to put yourself in a position for the right person and not get yourself hurt.
This might because like he said, like the coach said, it doesn't believe there's just one person for each person.
Right.
So if you go say this with your partner, whatever, and you know this person is not serious, or this person just want to chop and go, know that okay, this is not the right person, because God will not want that for you.
Right,
That this is not the right person for me.
Exactly.
Someone else, someone better, or someone that is made for his purpose for me will come along.
Exactly.
Yeah, be patient.
Exactly. So me, I have a question. You guys are married, and you are 6 weeks away.
Literally 6 weeks. That's
Literally
wild.
6 weeks. I want to know, how did you know? How did you know she was the one? And how did you know she was the one? And how did you know he was? And how did you know he was the one?
Now, wow.
Now, wow. How? Please talk to me.
You want to start to answer this question? Well, so I would say for me is, I mean, ever since I was young, I was always the serious person in our friend group. Like I always wanted a wife because I don't see any pleasure in just dating, just for the fun of it. So I was always seeking a wife. And prior to this relationship, my longest relationship was 6 months.
Wow.
Not because I was a player particularly, not because I was a player or anything like that, but I was looking for something. And if I don't see it in 6 months, or I know it's not going anywhere, I'm not wasting each other's time. I'm kind of
Straight to the point. My
yeah,
God.
I'm going straight to the point. I'm gonna let you know how it is. If I'm gonna give you chances, and if you're not working on the things that you're supposed to be working on, then we're just not compatible. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. You're just not my person.
Yeah.
So, and then the way I look at it too is I have to move on, because if I don't move on, I'm not the type to cheat or to date outside of what I have going on with you. So if I don't move on, then I will not have the opportunity to meet the right one. So I'm wasting my time here. So I have to cut things off to be single again, so that I can see clearly and pick the other person until I find her. Now, why she is the right one? She ended up being the right one. Same thing. Just patience. Like, her character is the main thing for me. You know, the character of the person that you're gonna spend most of the time of your life with. You need somebody that's caring, somebody that's loving, somebody that's patient, somebody that's kind, somebody that wants the best for you. So those are like the basic stuff. And then also, you know, somebody that's loyal, all those good stuff. And then somebody that you know love you for you and for who you are, and not for your potential or not for, you know, what they hope you to be or what they hope to turn you into. So those are the things that I was testing her on throughout when we were dating.
I didn't like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't doing it on purpose. Life tests all of us on a daily basis. things come up and you see how the person handle it.
Yeah.
Right? Relationship difficulties come up and you see how the person treats you, how the person talk to you in those high intense moments. So that's how you learn more about the other. So those are like some of the main reasons why I knew she was the one.
I'm gonna go ahead and answer. You asked a question in the beginning, like how did we, at what point, like what led you to God? Once I got to that point where I started learning about God, and one of the things that I was looking for was what love is really. And the Bible defines it very clearly. Love is patient, love is kind, love is, and so that was my standard for men, for men, because then if I can find someone that at least meets the criteria, because at first, you know, you do the things that the worldly things. You have a list. Oh, I want someone that's tall. I want someone that's 6'5", all of these things.
Luckily,
that wasn't working. So, like I said, I had to look for another another standard, and so that became my standard. And so when I met Francis, he was just okay. Like, he's patient with me. He's kind with me. The way he talks to me when we're disagreeing, he's kind. To me, I was just like, yeah, I was like, this is it. He's the one. My man.
Well, yeah.
Say something nice.
You better say something nice.
Well, I would say the truth. You know, hopefully.
Tell the truth,
Yeah, the truth. So, you know, so hopefully it can help, you know, somebody else out there. I mean, I'm talking about my experience. It might be different to somebody else, but I feel like, yeah, for me, I knew deep down that I had to go to a period where I was like truly single to really find, like, you know, like my wife. You know, because, you know, I felt like sometimes you can kind of be single, kind of talking, kind of messing around. But I feel like deep down, I used to have just kind of like, you know, like maybe like a slow voice just was just pushing me just to be truly single. So, and then I felt like I had to go to, like, you know, a period where I was like truly single, and then not really focusing on like trying to date. I mean, at the same time, you are, you know, trying to see, you know, whoever that God can put, you know, around you. But like I feel like me to really go in a period where I was truly single, that one really helped me to really find her. Because somehow I felt like that, particularly for me, that's something that God really wanted. Yeah, God didn't wanted me to be kind of single and still messing around, but God really wanted me to be like, you know, like a truly single. And then we met also in a way that was kind of like a church-wise way, like, you know, through like a middle person, you know, just like church. So like so from the start, I knew that just meeting her through somebody that I respect, and also through somebody that she respect, and then after talking to her, and then I already had the confirmation from God. Well, not like God, but just the feeling. I knew that this thing is right. It's right, yeah. Because I knew I was a God. Me going through this period of being truly single, that means whenever I date, that's it. And then whenever I found her, you know, just from our first conversation, I remember the first time we spoke for like a long time.
Like into the morning, I think.
Yeah. And then, you know, just talking, you know, just learning a lot about her ambition, and just because we date for like many things. So like for me, I wanna make sure that we share the same value. Also, like, you know, religion, it's a big thing. So we had many things in common. So that was really something great. And then beside it, you know, I saw that she was really smart, because we can share the same thing, but I want you to be smart, you know. Yes. You know, smart, and, you know, she was also like she's really rooted in, like, you know, prayer and stuff like that. So that was really something that really caught my attention. But like that was just like the icing on the cake. But it was just like this feeling in me that I knew that this is the right person. The peace, the peace and the confirmation. I feel like just the shalom, if I can say.
Shalom.
He was living the shalom before the shalom. Hey, brother.
So
Shalom, shalom.
That's amazing.
so I feel like stuff like that, just and then of course nobody is perfect. I mean, as long as she can accept me with my imperfection, and then I can too for her. We can achieve anything, and we can surpass all the troubles and tribulation and all that. Yeah.
Whew, that was beautiful. So, I mean, I guess I would agree. I think that I'll just be honest. Like prior to meeting my husband, I felt like I went through a season of complete singleness, and prior to that complete singleness, it was a moment and period of time where I really had gotten a really bad heartbreak. Like I was heartbroken, you know what I'm saying? I got to the point where I didn't even trust men. Like to the point where I never even trusted anyone, to be honest. And so it was in my moment of singleness that I learned how to find myself. And to really redefine what it is that I really want in a man. Because initially, I'll be the one to say, my list was long. I said, he got to have he got to have a six-pack, he got to be light-skinned, he got to play basketball. I had a big list. But in that moment of singleness is when God truly revealed to me what the criteria of my husband would be. And so whenever, the funny thing is he stayed in my DMs for like a while. Like maybe like 3 years. So this story had God had already sent me my husband, but I was so ignorant.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I was so ignorant to what God had already placed. Sometimes I'm praying, oh God, sent me my husband. God was like, look, I already did. Like he's already there. And it took one of my mentors, a woman that we both respect, to kind of be like, look, girl, this man, you gotta go ahead and start talking to him. So I knew from the first moment that we spoke on the phone, this is my husband.
That's amazing.
This is my husband, because it's like it was just a sudden peace, and I think the feeling of peace was what I was lacking, right? So in the other relationships I went through, I'll be honest, it was like I always sensed a sensation of either guilt or sensation of something else or sensation of something else. But when I met my husband,
you're talking to me.
The peace I felt was above it all. And then you'll realize when you feel peace, everything else aligns with it. Yes. So behind with the peace that I received, I saw, we can walk through this together. When I act like this, he reacts like this. When I act like this, he reacts like that. And then started to see that this is truly who I'm supposed to be submitted to. His mission aligns with the will of God, and that is what I can submit to. And if his mission does not align with the will of God, I'm not submitting to that. And his did.
That's amazing what you say. That's amazing. Because like sometimes we forget something. God will not necessarily give us what we want. If he will give us what we need.
Yes.
And sometimes the criteria or the list we have become our biggest blind, like our biggest
blindfold,
that we have, and we can't even see the person that is right here. That's why for us. And you go to school, you go to university and all of that. They teach you about finances. They teach you about a lot of stuff in life, but they don't teach you about how to actually recognize the person you are supposed to spend the rest of your life with. And that person is the most important choice you have to make in your whole life. So you can be a successful businessman, but if you have a wrong woman, you have a failed marriage. So I would like to know, you say after your breakup, and you two, you say the same thing, after your breakup you have to stay for some time single before you actually move on. So how long do you think someone can stay single after a breakup before moving on to the next one?
Should I answer?
Because sometimes
the general question, I think.
Because it's a general question. Because sometimes when you break up with someone, or someone break up with you, if you decide dating, people can feel like, no, it's too quick.
It's not serious.
You're not serious. Or if you wait for too long, people will start talking again. So when is the right time that you say, okay, right now I have to date again?
There's no right time, brother. There's no right time. There's no right time. It's all about what, like Glody say, like what is God putting in your heart to do? You know, when you were in the scripture, when you were praying, God will put something in your heart. God will give you an assignment. God will tell you, like Glody, stay single for a while until you find the one. Or God will not say anything. You know, which is my case. Like, God didn't tell me to do anything. I'm just going off of, I'm just searching. Not actively searching, but I'm paying attention to what's around me.
Wow, okay.
I'm not going out of my way. But like, for example, I was in school. I was in pharmacy school. I was busy. So I'm not in this. I met her through a classmate of mine. So it's not like I'm going out to a bar or being active in some group. No, I'm just living life. And when you are living life and you are praying for this, God will put that person in whatever section of your life so that you can meet them. So God put her through a classmate of mine. God put them through that mentor to meet. And it's always work out like that. You will meet the person through somebody else or through like a place that you guys share together. Nowadays, even through online. So there's a lot of opportunities nowadays to find that person, and none of them is wrong. Even like those apps, none of them is wrong. However you find the person, as long as that's the right person for you. But to answer your question, there's no right time. Everybody is different. We all have different assignment. Maybe you might be Paul, where God is telling you to stay single for a very, very long time, to serve him. You know what I mean? And you could be looking all you want, you ain't gonna find nothing. That's for you. So just listening to that voice and praying and asking God for guidance, that's the only way. There's really no magic solution to this. Yeah,
I mean, just to add on top of it, I think this subject, it's really it depends on, you know, each person. It's really subjective. So I mean, it can be different for everybody, but I feel like you yourself, you will know when it's the right time to move on. I mean, it can take you 6 months, a year, 3 years, you know, whatever the amount of year is going to take you, a month. Like yourself, you will know, like, okay, right now I'm ready, you know, to give somebody else a chance. So because if you are not ready, the next person will just come and then we just suffer from your hurt. So you got to make sure that you are healed before, you know, you start searching, so that you won't like hurt the other person.
I mean, I feel like they said, I don't think there's necessarily a right time, but you yourself, like he said, will know when it's the right time. Because I feel that a lot of times we move on into relationships, but we lack one thing, and that's discretion. A lot of times we're so open about our relationships, and we're like open about going on from the next person to the next person to the next person, but when sometimes God is actually calling you to be discreet about that season. I feel like the biggest success within our relationship has been discretion. Because I feel that if I would have exposed him in a sense, like, and show people, like, you know, this is my man way too soon, I would have had way too many external influences within my relationship, and we wouldn't have been able to necessarily just focus on us. We would have been focusing on what everybody else was saying, and you know, the noise that's out there. Because, you know, even I'll be honest, there was a moment, like, directly when I shared like who I was dating to one of my acquaintances, she automatically, what did she do? She started doing research on him. He's like this. He talked to this person. He talked to this. I started to know his whole life before even him speaking to him and getting to know. If I wouldn't have been discreet, if I would have been discreet about that aspect, maybe I wouldn't have found it, and I would have found that out through him telling me himself. And I feel like a lot of times we lack that, and a lot of relationships fail because people aren't discreet discreet enough. And then that's when you get into the thing of, oh, he moved on too soon. Oh, he moved on.
Yeah.
When you're discreet, nobody knows when you move on.
Yeah.
Until you pop up and you're engaged. You pop up and you're married.
Yeah.
And that it got it. Sometimes it has to be like that.
Like that. Yeah.
It has to be like that sometimes.
I feel like everyone has kind of answered the question. I'll give my example because when I met Francis, I literally got out of like talking to someone. It was like a week and I started speaking to Francis. I think for me it was just like I knew what I wanted. And at that point I knew what like, oh, this is what I want, and if you're not meeting the criteria, I'm just moving on. You know, I wouldn't say that I think Francis and I happened, it wasn't that I was searching, it was just that, oh, like whosoever comes along, I'll see what the opportunity holds, and that was just what it was like. So I don't think that there's a precise time. If you feel within yourself that you're ready to proceed with caution and with the things that you're looking for, and with again, there's some people who like to move on to other relationships, but they're still like bringing on what the past
baggage of the
relationship
past
into the thing. If you're not able to let the past go, then you're not ready to move forward.
That's
beautiful.
And so that's one of the things that I would say about that situation. Like, let the past go. If you can do that well, and not think that just because one person did it, the future person is going to do it. If you cannot think that way, then just not move on. Just work on yourself.
Person a prisoner of your past.
Yes, that's well said. Yeah.
You have something to say?
It's okay. She has her own perspective.
Mr. Ben, you have something for us?
No, I actually don't have this one. You can have the next one.
Okay. I will. You know, all of us, we're African. Yeah, we're African, and we live in the
capital of Africa.
Make sure Nigeria.
And we live in this beautiful country, and there is this problem that happened. That's always like it's a real issue among the African community, where sometimes people after like spending some time here, they decide to go back home, get married, and they bring the person over here. So I would like to know what are your take. What do you think about that? Because before I'm gonna give the word to you, I would like to give my perspective first before. So me personally, I don't believe that you should leave the United States to go to Africa to take a wife there or husband, because most of the problem, like most people who do that, the relationship end up in divorce and dramatically, especially when it's the man who go take a woman from Africa and bring her over here. Most of the time you will see, like we say in Cameroon, like you bring her here, you wash her face, you open her eyes, and she started see more than you. And when she comes here and she starts seeing the reality of here, she sees that law is by her side. She sees that government protect her.
People start changing.
She can take advantage of that, and most of the time the man is the one who regret and will be crying, because you will see in Africa, most women with African culture, women don't really have the opportunity to express themselves because the man is the king. So some of them are there, they are compressed, they can't express themselves. So when they get to a country where they notice that the law is for them, they just blow. And you will notice that most African women use law against their husband than people who were born here. I sometimes say that I prefer 10 times get married to an American than to go take an African from Africa. That's my opinion.
Now, wow. This is my question, sir. Why do you have to go back home and take a wife? What is the purpose?
That's the thing.
Because most men go back home to take a wife because they think they can control women back at home compared to the woman here. That is why I think most men go back home and take a wife. Or and most people say, "Oh, I'll just go to the village," since they don't know anything. I'll bring a wife first, someone that can do everything. A slave. That's the other word for it.
Not necessarily
That is
slave.
But they're looking for a yes man. Someone who
Yes.
just do whatever you want.
Not
Someone who just
necessary.
submit.
Most
Not
time.
necessary.
No.
A lot of times.
Most of the time we believe.
A lot of times, sir.
Most of the time we believe that if we take a woman from Africa, because we know how we have been raised. In Africa, women have been raised to honor their husband, to take care of their husband, to respect their husband, to submit to their husband, and they understand that.
What's the definition of submission in that sense?
Yeah, that's.
No.
So and they understand that women from here actually don't fit in that box. So that's why they go back.
What do you mean, women
I'ma
from here?
just let y'all know this is have to be like part 2 of the because this is about to go on for now. I'm telling you right now. You have dived into deep oceans, my brother.
Yes.
We still have 30 minutes.
Oh no, we're not rushing. We can do part 2, part 3, whatever we want. But let's go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You know, like you said, women come here back from Nigeria, back from Africa, right? And then they feel like they have a voice. That's the problem with Africa. Women, they have a voice, but they're not allowed to use it. So they come here, and I see, oh, I have a voice. I can use it. The law is on my side. Why not? I mean, most things that men get away with in Africa, they know they cannot get away with it here, and that is the problem. We're talking about how women in Africa are all that. Africa is not all that good because our women, do you see what they're subjected to? And that's why, honestly, I believe most men, not all, most African men prefer to go back home and pick a wife and bring them here to take advantage of them. So you say, I can't marry someone from here. Why?
No, I didn't say I cannot.
No, not you. You now. Let's say this guy. He's not
Okay, so like
guy.
why the people that go back home?
Yeah.
Why they not marrying somebody from
Yeah,
here? That's your
exactly.
question.
Why is so wrong with having a voice?
But I would say
Something people use a lot is the word submit. Which in Africa, what is the other definition of submit? Because you're not really saying submit.
You're saying do everything my husband tells me to do, and then that's it.
I don't think that's all.
Now that's not what the definition of submit
No, that's
is.
not what it is. But that's not the
back
definition.
home, that's what it is.
Exactly.
Back home, that's the definition.
Yeah.
Now, I think a lot of our conversation is also generational. As far as like we essentially the mentality that you're talking about is more seen in the older generation of African men. Compare at least
What
at least
generation?
the ratio.
30s and up or 40s and up?
Yeah, let's just say 30s and up. Because the I don't know what they call millennials, whatever, but I'm about to sound dumb online. I think millennial is us. I think millennial is us. Yeah. So I corrected myself. Don't be in the comment going crazy. But yeah, so we are millennials. So the people that are above us or came before us, they have most of the mentality you're talking about compared to us. Because I think a lot of the people that go back home and do that, a lot of the time is the people that already came here and already left the family back home, or like have kids back home and they are bringing their family. But somebody just like single here and specifically like that's their plan, that I'm not getting married here, I'm only going back home to find a wife. Now that's a problem.
Yeah, that's some of them. Yeah,
that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
Now, if you happen, because what did I say earlier, there's opportunities nowadays of dating. There's electronics, there's Instagram, there's online. If you happen to just find somebody and they're in Kenya, for example, or they are somewhere in Africa, that doesn't mean, like, I didn't know I was going to marry a Cameroonian, but life happened. So if you end up finding somebody that's in Africa, that doesn't necessarily mean, you wanted to control somebody, that's why you. So it's all about the purpose of why you're going back home, or what's taking you back home. Not necessarily you going back home purposefully, but maybe life happened to take you back home to get a wife. Because I have a couple of best friends that wives is back home and they brought them here. I'm not gonna touch on that, but like he said, a lot of them are not successful. But I think another thing too is also seen a lot in our Muslim friend community as well, because they believe in their values as well that a lot of females here don't have. So they believe that they have to go back home to get those values. So that's just the reality of things. It's not right, but that's just what it is.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add a question to that. What about the people who said, "Oh, I'm gonna date younger because of people my age"?
No,
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Me too.
I don't see anything wrong with that. As long as the girl is of age, which for me of age is different.
That's how younger.
Yeah, how of age we talking about? Now, if you 60 and you out there seeking 18 years old, that's a problem. But depending on your age, there's common sense that's not really common, but there should be common sense onto like how young we should be going and how young it could start looking perverted. So we all know it. We all know how young you should be going. So like stop being crazy out there, man. Do the right thing.
Yeah, and I also believe that sometimes African men who come here, sometimes they don't try to adjust themselves to the culture here. Because you know that in Africa, you are the man, your word is gospel. Like whatever you say is like has to be applied without any discussion. But when you come here, you understand that it's more about like sometimes like partnership with your wife. It becomes difficult for them to adjust that. Okay, I cannot just boss that girl around like do this, do that, do this, do that. I'm the man. If you have to prove to your girl that you are the man by the way you react, it means that you are not the man.
Not the man.
Because your action must be able to speak more than your word. So, and at that, you have to be able to adjust your mentality, your mindset. Say, okay, here, ways like we walk this way, we act this way, we behave this way because of the culture we are in. You can't bring Africa here.
No.
Right.
You can't.
You can't. So I think that's why when they fight, they feel like they can adjust themselves to the culture in a good way. They go back home and expect to find a woman that will be submissive to them and stuff like that. But what they ignore sometimes, everybody in America, every man in America looks like Chris Brown to any woman in Africa.
I mean, that's
why.
You talking about white?
Yeah.
No, white. I said
okay.
an African.
So you talking about like anybody that live in America, or okay?
Yeah.
Look good to any woman in Africa. Why? Because they don't necessarily see you as a husband. They see you as a way out of poverty.
Yeah.
So she said that if I stay with this man, it doesn't matter what he's going to tell me right now. I will just cope with him until he bring me over. That's why sometimes when they just wait, you can step on them, do whatever. As soon as they get their green card or their citizenship, now it's a payback history. It's a payback stuff. And you're gonna say, why do you act like that? Why do you be like that? Why do you do like that, bro? She was just
a ticket for me.
Exactly, you were just a chicken. So that's why I don't think that love connection. So for some of them it works, but I don't think that connection is 100%.
Yeah, because how would you know if the person is truthful or like love you for who you are?
Exactly.
because at the end of the day, you are a huge opportunity coming to that household. So you don't know if they really love you for you,
Exactly.
or if they're looking for a come up.
Exactly.
So
I mean, I feel like that's a good segue to my next question. I might ruffle a little bit of feathers with this one because it might be a little bit.
Go ahead.
Like you mentioned that a lot of these relationships don't work, right? A lot of these people have this mindset of like, you know, what it means to be submissive and whatever. Sometimes submission for them in reality is actually what you call abuse. So what do you think? Like, is it God's intention in that situation if, you know, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and you get married, blah, 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 blah. Would God want you to stay in a relationship that's abusive, or do you think that divorce is okay in that sense?
I just love the way you connect that dot. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful, man.
This is a segue, you know.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know.
Yeah, so, but I'm not going to answer for her. I just wanted to appreciate her.
Thank you.
you want to take that?
Not yet.
I would say God will never want you to be in an abusive relationship. That's not don't ever think that in your life, because think about it, you are made in the image of God. How will he want you to be abused by another man or another person? Men's are superior in a relationship in the sense of a marriage, but in the sense of the world or like society, men are not superior. We are all equal in society. So in the relationship, if a man is like abusing you, especially physically, let alone even nowadays there's emotional and all that, so God will not want you to be in that situation. So you have the free will to leave that situation, and for me that will not be seen as a sin, because in that space there's really nothing to work or like nothing to fight for. You are the one being boxed, you are the one being fight. So yeah, so please, if you are in a abusive relationship, pack your bag, speak up, pack your bag, leave. It's not a sin. There's a lot of things there's a lot of reasons why you could, in a Christian way, legally get a divorce or legally leave your marriage, and abuse is one of them. Cheating is one of them. So free to go.
I mean, just to add another layer to that question, right? When I'm also speaking, there's physical abuse, but there's also emotional abuse as well, right? So when I'm speaking about abuse, I'm literally speaking about the whole thing as a picture as well. So is it okay? Okay, he doesn't abuse me physically, but he abuses me emotionally. Is that okay to leave, or should you stay?
To me, anything that is messing up with your peace, may that be physically, emotionally, mentally, that's not good.
Yeah.
You know, that can be a relationship, that can be your job, that can be anything. I don't think that anything that is messing up with your peace or giving you trouble, that God will definitely allow it. Because Jesus himself, he's the Prince of Peace. So he will want us to have peace.
Yeah.
So if something that is bringing you, like, you know, trouble, you know, lack of peace, I don't think that's something really healthy.
I totally agree with you. And like religion be one of the most dangerous thing, or one of the main supporter of abuse in relationships. Like when you see there are many women who die in their marriage that have been abused by their husband emotionally, physically, alive, but they can't leave that man because the church will tell them that you are divorced, you are divorcee, God hates divorce, you will go to hell, and all of that. And some of them stay there and they die. They die, and when they die, you will see all over social media, RIP, RIP. Why? But I feel like we have to understand that there is nothing in this world that's above a human life. Nothing, not even marriage.
Yeah.
Because God didn't create us for marriage first. He created us for himself. And sometimes letting people stay in abusing relationship because they are scared they will go to hell is misunderstand the real love of God, the heart of God. Do you really think that God will prefer that you die before your time
in the hands of another
man than to live?
Especially when his son has already died for you.
Exactly. Why are you going to die for?
I will not be dying.
Yeah.
I will
Why?
not be the lamb. I will be a sacrificial lamb again.
Right. That's why I always say. I don't support divorce. I don't. My goal is to get married once in my life.
Yeah.
And I really pray God for that. So that's why sometimes when some people leave, I just cry a little bit and I say, okay, it's okay. I move on. But I just understand I will do all my best as a man to honor and respect my wife, so that I don't get to the extent that I have to abuse her. But if I feel like she's the one, maybe who is cheating on me or who is abusing me, bro, if we can't talk that, we can talk about abuse. We can talk about that. If you feel like you still want to do it, I'm out. But if you cheat on me, we don't even talk about that. Oh no, we don't talk.
It's no conversation.
No, we don't.
That's it.
We don't. We out.
I wanted to just also kind of put things into perspective, because there's obviously we're not married yet, we cannot really fully, there's some things that you can't understand until you're married, right? And so there are some things that in marriage the adversities of life will bring between a couple that would kind of limit your peace, or that will bring about like I feel like that's the course of life. If the course of life is, let's say, God forbid, even the death of our parents, the death of a child, some accidents, whatever, those things happen. Those are the things that we as a couple has to work through. Some of that, there might not be peace during those times. That's understand. I feel like when it's caused by someone that loves you, when, like for instance, cheating, physical abuse, that's not for me. I feel like now you've brought in the worst. Like the worst was your action. It wasn't like the course of life, if that makes sense. If it's the course of life bringing out tribulation, sure, we'll deal with it together. But when you're causing it, now you're making me choose between my peace and this relationship.
You gotta tell them no.
You gotta tell them no.
Definitely.
And it's just like, okay, you have to choose. Well, there's some people who would say, okay, yeah, my husband cheated or my wife cheated and I've decided to stay. If that's your decision, then you gotta be quiet. At some point, you can't keep complaining and staying in the same position and saying, "Oh, but he cheated. Oh, but he's abusing me." But you have a choice to leave. You have a choice to make a decision for your sanity and for your peace of mind. And just like you guys said, God wouldn't put you in a position where you have to choose between your life and, let's say, marriage. I feel like a lot of people idolize marriage so much that they would stay in it for crazy reasons. And we've seen that like with past generations. I mean, the mothers who tell their children, even if he cheats on you, just stay. That's your husband. Like, don't do such thing. Don't do so. If it's messing with your peace and you can no longer take it, let it go.
But I have a question on that though. This might be old school. But what if, like, do you believe, for example, like God can change that person? Say you're in a relationship and that person has been abusing you. That person has been saying, like when I say emotional abuse or whatever, like they may have been doing whatever. But like, do you believe that God can change that person?
I believe that God could change a person, but
we have 5 minutes.
We have 5 minutes. That was also like the thing that I wanted to touch on. That although we are saying like, you know, go ahead and leave and stuff like that, we also have to be careful that we are not promoting
divorce.
Divorce.
Right?
We're against divorce.
No divorce.
People,
pray first.
People just living for childish stuff. Yeah. Especially nowadays, marriage is like, oh, we didn't agree on this, so we decide to part ways. What do you mean part ways?
It's disturbing my peace.
Yeah, so
I
we
don't
part
feel it
ways.
anymore.
I don't feel it anymore.
Really?
What are you talking about? So we got to make sure that, you know, the stuff that we are discussing are serious stuff. We're talking about cheating. We're talking about abuse, serious abuse. Like we're not talking about just
abuse.
once in a while.
eye every day.
Yeah,
No,
we
don't
talking
want
about
that.
serious stuff. So emotional abuse
Yeah.
every day on a consistent
Consistent
basis.
basis, yeah.
You know, like you said, if somebody is doing it once in a while, then okay, it's something we could work out, talk to them, try to come together with a solution,
Yeah.
help them, see what's causing that, you know, what's the triggers, work with them. That's your husband, that's
Yeah.
your wife. So work with the person. But you know, you can work the person with all you want, but if that's their character, that's the character. That's when, you know, that consistency come in.
Yeah.
If they keep doing it, then you know they're not gonna
It's
change.
a pattern. So
Yeah, that's who they are.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, at that point, that's the point where you leave.
Yeah, that's when you're like, okay,
Yeah.
peace
I'll
out.
be out. Yeah.
Can I say something?
Okay.
One more thing. Benedict said something about discretion that is very important in this topic. When you're going through adversities of life with your partner, discretion.
Please.
Yeah.
I would
Keep
say
your stuff
that's
to
something
yourself.
that we learned in marriage counseling as well. Don't be telling your family everything because you will move on. Your family wouldn't
Back you up.
You know what I mean? And so just be mindful of who you're sharing the details of your life with and all of that. So
Can you close the? People need to close the podcast because it's.
Okay. Well, I guess we could keep going on and on and on, but I think that we really had some great conversation, really great insight from each one of us, and I'm really excited for the next one.
Yeah.
So I think we need more than just this part. I think we need a
we
part
have a
two,
lot to
part
talk
three.
about.
So we have a lot to talk about. So yeah, thank you for sharing this time with us, and I hope that this edified you and blessed you. And see you on the next one. Wait, is it Faithpreneurs? Faithpreneurs.
Yeah. Podcast. Yeah.
So see you on the next one.
See you on the next one. Bye.